In 1939, German forces launched a series of rapid, coordinated strikes across Europe. Their divisions operated with a synchronicity that allowed tanks, infantry, and submarines to engage targets simultaneously from land and sea. This massive logistical coordination relied on a portable encryption device called the Enigma machine. Allied stations intercepted thousands of these radio messages every single day, but when they listened in, they heard nothing but meaningless static. Military commanders were fighting a heavily armed enemy without any clear sight of their movements. Piercing that silence was the absolute requirement for survival in the Battle of the Atlantic. If the U-boats remained invisible, the Allied supply lines would fail. The Enigma's primary defense was a set of mechanical rotors. With every single keystroke, the internal rotors stepped forward, scrambling a single input letter into a completely different output. Before the signal even reached those rotors, external plugboard cables were swapping letters, vastly multiplying the possible pathways for the electricity to follow. Combined, this system generated 158 quintillion possible daily combinations. If you gathered an army of cryptologists to check every single setting by hand, the process would take longer than the age of the universe. Human calculation could not defeat a number that large. Overcoming Enigma required a new strategy that moved beyond traditional computation. Polish mathematicians provided the initial breakthrough. They identified a pattern. German operators often reused their settings out of habit. As forces began moving into their country, the Poles handed this vital intelligence to the Allies. The British code-breaking operation was secretly relocated to a country mansion called Bletchley Park, where a mathematician named Alan Turing took charge of the project. Turing recognized that a human mind could not outcalculate a perfect machine. To succeed, they had to build an even more capable machine to fight back. The result was the Bombe, an electromechanical device designed to industrialize the decryption effort. German operators reliably ended their messages with identical phrases, like daily weather reports or formal greetings. These predictable anchors gave the codebreakers a known starting point, hidden within the scrambled text. This matrix represents all possible Enigma settings. The Bombe used predictable phrases to test for impossible letter pairings. Because a letter cannot encrypt as itself, detecting a clash instantly discarded thousands of incorrect settings. Crossing out impossibilities at high speed isolated the single daily truth. Ruling out the impossible allowed the codebreakers to finally bypass the 158 quintillion barrier. This breakthrough created an intelligence pipeline. Bletchley Park began decrypting thousands of messages a day, filing the reports under the top-secret classification Ultra. With Ultra intelligence, Allied convoys received the exact coordinates of German U-boat patrol lines, allowing them to route vital supply ships safely around the threat. This dominated the tactical landscape, providing the location data needed to intercept and sink the German battleship Bismarck. Years later, this total visibility into enemy commands provided the strategic foundation for the massive Allied logistics of the D-Day landings. The conflict shifted from a struggle of raw materials and ballistics to a war decided by information security. When the fighting stopped, the 10,000-person operation at Bletchley Park was dissolved. Every worker was sworn to absolute secrecy about their contributions. The human impact was staggering. Historians estimate this operation shortened the war by 2 years, preventing the loss of up to 14 million lives. But the technological legacy remained hidden. The code-breaking machines developed at Bletchley Park secretly formed the foundational architecture for modern computing. The digital age did not begin as a commercial enterprise. It was built as a desperate weapon against fascism. Alan Turing returned to civilian life carrying a world-saving secret that he was legally forbidden to share with anyone. Despite his service, Turing lived with a deep personal vulnerability. His homosexuality was heavily criminalized by the very society he had just protected. In 1952, authorities prosecuted him. He was stripped of his security clearance and forced to undergo chemical castration as a government-mandated punishment. Driven to despair by the treatment, Alan Turing took his own life before reaching his 42nd birthday. Turing applied pure logic to protect his country. That same country then used an illogical prejudice to destroy him.